Right. Right. Good afternoon, guys. Yeah. Welcome to the first class of Photoshop workshop. Yeah. So I am Mr. Kannan from Taylor's University. I'm a lead specialist in animation, and I teach entertainment design mostly. I teach about 5 to 6 subjects. I'm the year lead for the entertainment design by itself, and yeah, I'm one of the key person there for design school. So as you can see in the classroom, there is my name, my contact details, my phone number, my contact details is there. We'll start a WhatsApp group. Please, you know, add me in, and perhaps then we can start a WhatsApp group. I will post the WhatsApp group link here so you guys can get into the WhatsApp group as for us to ease our communication. Yeah. So it is about 20 minutes of our 20 minutes before your actual time, which is 5 to 6:15 every Tuesday. So I will start 20 minutes before. If sometimes it can be a little shorter time period depending on the availability. Yeah, but normally it's before 15 minutes before. Yeah. So once you get in or hop into our classroom, you can see all the materials will be shared. So I will do the weekly update here. Yeah, so you guys can have a look at what needs to be done and what needs to be looked at before you get into self overwhelmed with too many materials and getting overwhelmed with it. So we'll do it step by step, right? So as you can see here, this is the first few links that I'm sharing. So here there are tutorials for you guys to see, just to have a look at it in front to get a rough idea of what Photoshop can do. Some fonts which you will be using later on for typography, and so you've got the training channels here. You've got the Unsplash, which is a site where you can just download royalty-free images, and so you've got other videos to inspire you, and as well as the keyboard shortcut. There's two here. One is the keyboard shortcut by the web, and one is the PDF, depending on how big is your storage size is, where you can download and keep it for yourself and refer to. Right. So these are quite reliable resources. If you have more, please be free to use it. Right. So that is on the materials that I'm sharing at the moment. Yeah, more to come eventually. So that's that. And now let's look into the Photoshop by itself. Okay, so please don't mind this. I'm just going to quickly open what we are going to do. Yeah, so this will also be shared with you guys. Yeah, so today we're going to look at Photoshop navigation, how Photoshop works, what you need to do, how do you click things and so on, how do you navigate and get yourself more comfortable of getting started with Photoshop by itself. Yeah, and then coming next week, and so we'll have blending and so on. I'm not going to read through each and every activity of it. Yeah, you guys can have a look at it later. Yeah, but this is the main topics, as I'm just going to run through, is the blending options, and so lighting, layer style, scaling, which is all the basic fundamental of Photoshop. Okay, once you get to know this, you will be able to utilize kickstart your creativity process in Photoshop, and after that you can expand it with your own upskilling and so with Photoshop and so. Yeah, so that is precisely what we are going to go through with our topic. So I'll share this later. After the class, I'll share this. I'll post it in the classroom, and then now let's jump on to Photoshop. Right. So once you open up Photoshop, let's push this forward. Yeah. Once you open up Photoshop, ignore what you're seeing here. Yeah. So those are works done by me for concepting and so. But anyways, once you open up Photoshop, when you install it and you load it up, this is what you will see. It will ask you new file, home, learn, da da da, and so on. Yeah. So what you're seeing here, you just have to ignore all this except for your home, and either you open file or new file. So every time that you save a file, yeah, it will appear here, okay, on the list of recent open files or documents, and then you just have to double click it and just single click it. It will just straight away open up for you to start editing, right? So that's how Photoshop works in the very first look that you have with Photoshop. All right, so once you get this, first thing that you want to do is you are looking at new file. So when you click on new file, you've got ample of options here. Yeah, you've got the reason, whichever files that you have opened or worked with, or document that you have worked with, it will register, it will remember what kind of document size that you have opened or played with, and then it will recall that back again, and it suggests you this is what file size that you've been working with. You can just click on it and the canvas just opens up for you. You will come to either photo, print, art and illustration, web, mobile, and video, film and video. For now, we will be looking at photo, we'll be looking at art and illustration. Okay, um, those are the common sizes that you're looking at. Print sizes is common. This is for printing, yeah, as it says, printing A4 size, and you've got bigger size than this if you want to expand it. So depending what kind of canvas, what kind of output that you're looking at. So photo means it's photo. Sometimes you get confused with this because this is yeah, it is going by centimeters. It's quite huge photos. So probably we look at print, and then we're looking at different other scales and so on. I will further explain this as we move on to our projects and so on. So if you get into any of this hubs or any of these options here, or if you don't want to, you can straight away name your file. Yeah, so here let's say week 1 intro. All right, name your files. By default it will be untitled. You can name your file. You can change the width, which is the the width of it, yeah, your canvas, and then the height of your canvas. Your height of your canvas, how big you want it to be. If you're confused with inches, I would suggest you to go by pixels. Easy for you to navigate through, right? So common ground, or let's just go pixels. I would like to work in pixels. I don't normally, this is how I work because I do a lot of concept arts for games and so this is what we are very used to. So if you're not very sure, you can just click on any of these given sizes, that common sizes that we used in the industry, so for beginners. So if you're looking at pixels, you can just type in whichever pixels that is suitable. 2000, or I'll just get into film. Yeah, film. You all are used to TVs, right? So TVs 1080p is the common size. Yeah, 1080p. So you get into common size 1920, 10 for 1080, and so, or you can just get into print A4 size, done. Okay. So these are two common things. For now, let's just start with the A4 size. So it is under the unit size, unit scale of millimeters. You can just work with this. Yeah, you can always change this. There's two options under the orientation. One, you want it portrait, or you want it landscape. Yeah, landscape normally works with any sort of painting. Yeah, portrait normally for your own pictures, and so yeah, your avatars, and so that works well for the portrait. So artboard ignore for now. resolution is the most important thing, which it will state how clear and how crisp is your final output is going to be. Okay, so it's okay if you don't understand this for now. We will come back to this again and again. So resolution is just to remember, resolution means how clear or how crisp is your final output is going to be printed, right? And then 300 is the one of the highest one. You guys can just start with 150. It's more than enough. The higher the resolution, the bigger the file size is, right? So moving on, the color mode for now, leave it as RGB. If you're going to go for print, then you look into CMYK again when color mode comes for printing. And so when we go into that topic, then we'll dive deeper into the color mode options. Yeah, so background content and so on, just ignore for now. Yeah, it is there for you to change it. So these are the background content. If you want it to be transparent, you can leave it as it is, or you can just try out any of this. There's no harm. Yeah, you can always do an advanced option here if you want to change things, but for now just leave it as it is. Okay, so once you have already created this, we have already adjusted the values of each and every components inside here. You just have to hit create. Done. Okay, so once you have created a document, this is what you call as a document, or commonly we as a daemon, you will just call it as a file. Yeah, so as you can see within this document, there is a white space which is like a sheet. This is an A4 sheet, or you call it as a canvas, where it will straight away appear as white because you chose the white background, and it will lock. You can't do any editing straight away. You can change it just yet. We'll come into how to edit those components within the layers and so shortly. Okay, so this is what you will see here. Very simple. You see this white color blank space here, blank sheet. This is a canvas. This is where you will view all your artwork will be displayed. And the first top shelf here, you will see the file, which is how you want to open a brand new one. You can open multiple files, or you can open a brand new file by itself. You can open as, for now just ignore all this except for open new. Yeah, control N for new, and open, which is opening a brand new previous open file. Okay, and then if you scroll down, you can see open reason. This will tell you all the files, or keep track of all the files that you have opened previously, and it will appear in a list here. So you can just get into your say week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 assignments that you have done. You can just click on it and it will automatically open, given that you do not change your folder or the file location. All right, and that's what you need to know on the file. And then save as. Save and save as, these two things is the most important things that you need to know. So first and foremost, before we start anything, make sure that you save as. Yeah, so if you are registered under Adobe, yeah, then it will ask you whether you want to save it on the cloud, or you can just save it on your computer. So tap on it, make a folder, yeah, and then to name it, yeah, properly. Yes, March 2023, perhaps. Yeah, training. Make a folder dedicated to it, so everything is thrown inside here, and just save it. Okay, when you have a dedicated folder, it's easier for you to locate it, and it doesn't get confused when you have multiple folders like what you're seeing here now, right? Because I'm teaching so many subjects, this is what you will see. Yeah, but yeah, you guys have to just make sure you put it in a designated folder where you can just find your or locate your files, and you can just get into here and just click on this files, right? So that's on the file settings that you would have. All right. So apart from that, the others ignore for now. Yeah. Exit means it's just closing the entire program by itself. Okay. Moving on, you've got edit. Uh, this would be better if we are doing our tutorial practical. It will be much more easier to understand. But as you can see here, if you hover through any of the top shelves here, you've got a list of components, yeah, for you to just click on and for you to know. There are a lot of functions here that we will be using, yeah. So most common component that I would uh, advise you guys to look at is under edit is purge. Yeah, purge means if you purge all every time you finish work or any kind of work later on, any editing, please make sure that you hit on purge all. Save it first, then purge all before you exit. The reason being is it will save your storage. Yeah, if not, your storage will be packed and it will just eat up your space, and finally you'll see you will be living with maybe 20 MB and that's it. Yeah, so make sure you purge all. We'll come back. I'll keep on reminding you guys with this. Yeah, right. And then uh, third list, yeah, is where you see the modes, and so this also would be best understood once we practice this. This is for image editing. All the components are here. List of actions can be found here. Layers, which I will come back again on layers. Yeah, type is the font, select is the selections, filter is all the effects that you can get in here. 3D do not touch, right? 3D is too heavy for you guys unless you guys are using a super computer or very extensive computer, then yes. If not, please don't get into 3D yet, but it's good to know. Yeah, view is where how do you want to view your images or your canvas by itself. You can zoom in, zoom out, and so on. And then you've got the plugins. For now, just ignore this. Yeah, window is practically every single thing that you're seeing here. The arrangement of your canvas, window. This is one window by itself. Yeah, you see this, you can dock it, you can just undock it. So docking is, you can just, if you have multiple monitors, you can just dock it elsewhere, or you can just drag it and then paste it back. Yeah, so you can customize each and every sections of this. Yeah, and then you can customize it according to your liking. Yeah, so those are windows. So whatever you want to see here, you just click on everything. This is nothing to worry. You can just type just click on all this, check on every windows just to see what it is. Yeah, and yeah, it will just pop up and tell you the list. Okay, what is inside or within that each window. Right. So the second shelf here with the icons, yeah, is where help. I forgot about the help. Help is practically if you want to have updates or if you want to do any other stuff within this. You want to get to know something new, or you don't know anything, you want to have hands-on tutorial from Adobe by itself, you can get into help. For now, let's just ignore this. Yeah, so this is a common line of shelf in any software, so I'm not going to go to software crazy. But yeah, if you open up for Adobe families, yeah, any softwares or any future softwares that you're going to work with, these are common layouts that you could see by default. Yeah, then on the second shelf you can see there is a home. If you hit on the home, it will go back to the Adobe web page by itself. For now, just ignore this because this is unchecked. Yeah, so you can click on this, you've got the tool on the second icon here, what tool that you're using. Yeah, you've got auto select, we'll talk about this later. Yeah, this is for selecting. You've got the transformation controls, and the rest of it is about the alignment of how you arrange things. And the 3 dots here is for the alignments and distribution of each and every alignments. So when you're working on something later, it will be easier for you to understand when we explain this even further. Right, the 3D modes and so ignore for now. Okay, so very simple. First is the main shelf. Yeah, the first tier here with the PS icon. Yeah, as you can see on my screen, the first tier is the main components. Everything is inside here. All right, so these are all the windows that you're looking at. Right, so now as you can see here at the end where you see the X, the minimize, the maximize, and then the close button. Yeah, if you just hover your mouse, you can see it will give you the descriptions. There is share, unless if you have an account. You can just share it on the cloud, or you share it with your friends, or whoever is going to use it, your clientele, and so you can share it with them. And yep, so here you've got the search button where you can search for any or discover anything from Adobe by itself. Yeah, once you have the license. And then as you can see here, there's a tiny little window. Yeah, a box with a tiny drawing dot here. If you tap on this, you will see this is the workspace. Okay, if you drop down the menu, just tap on it, on this last icon here, on the tiny little arrow beside the box here. You can see there are a list of workstations here. Yeah, workspace. Yeah, sorry. So in here you've got the essential 3D graphic, motion graphic, painting, and so on. These are the common practices that Photoshop users will have it customized for. So for now, let's leave it as essential. In the future, if you get into other, you want to upskill yourself and so, you want to get into painting and so, then you can look into the customized workstation. If it's essential, yeah, if you don't see any of this windows as mine, that means it is in a different workspace. Got it? Yeah. So all you have to do is tap on this, get into essential. For now, that's it. Yeah, you get every single windows as how you're seeing here, right? So that is the key thing for the first stage of getting to know your Photoshop. Right, thirdly, you're looking into the main workspace. Yeah, the main workspace here, the most important component, as you can see, is the canvas and then your tool. Right, your toolbar they call it. All right, so if you look at the toolbar here, right, these are the list of tools, which means how and what you're going to do with your canvas. Right, if you use move tool, if you have an image, for an example, I'm just going to throw in any image. If you take a photo, you bring in a photo from anywhere. Yeah, just drag and drop it for now. Yeah, so if you drag and drop it, nothing happens here. One is because it was calculating depending how big is the size. Right, so you can just drag and drop it and kapoosh, you get the image. Okay, there is another way of doing is by going to file. You can also look at place embedded or place linked. Okay, so if you place embedded, yeah, so which means you're going to look at any images, look into your folder where you keep all your files. Yeah, if I'm gonna look into the same thing, I'm just gonna hit place embedded. Okay, if it's place embedded and I press enter, that means it is following the canvas size, it is linked here, and it is stuck on that canvas by itself, and you can start editing. But if you place linked, where else, I'm going to go back and I'm going to bring back the same image. Yeah. And what happens with link is, if I do any edits here, okay, I'm just going to hide this. Yeah, looking into my layers, I'm just going to give you a sample. Yeah, what happens. So I'm going to tap this. Oh, actually, we'll talk about this even further. Okay, let me just explain this first. Yeah, so this is how you bring in that image. I'll get back into what is the differences between place linked and place embedded, and how you want to drag the images into your canvas, right? So for the first step, you need to know this is how you bring in an image. Done. Okay, after I've explained the tools, then I'll teach you how to edit. Okay, so coming back to the tools, once you have the tool here selected, the first thing that you will select is the move tool. A move tool is if you're looking at the layers, before we get into layers in depth. So if you look at the layers, if you see the background is locked, let's just ignore the background. Okay, the images that you bring in, you just have to tap once so it's highlighted. Yeah, and then you can just drag this image and place it wherever you want. I'm going to hide the rest of it. You just have to drag, position it where it's supposed to be, place it, and you're done. Okay, very simple. If you have your own pictures or photos and whatever not, you can just drag it in. Move tool is to move your image. Okay, simple. Yeah. So once that is done, now next, what can you do with this, right? How does it work? So in here you've got the selection tool. So this is a marquee tool. Anything that is with or tiny little arrow, yeah, within the toolbar here, I can't enlarge it. So if you can see here, we just look at any of this tool, there's a tiny little dot here. Okay, so if you hold with your left mouse button, you will see two options on a move tool. You got the artboard tool and the move tool. Make sure you're only on move tool for now, right? Let's not confuse ourselves with other tools. Make sure if you see this, if you can't see move tool, make sure you are looking into move tool. You're working on move tool, right? Very simple, right? The rest of it, the marquee tool is where you want to, what are the sections you want to select, how do you want to select it, right? So marquee tool is, this is selection, you see the dotted lines. So this is the region where you are selecting and you want to edit. So we will dive into this even further, but just to understand, so anything, any box or any shapes within the marquee selection here, only this within that dotted line, yeah, only that area within the dotted line will be selected and will be edited. Simple, yeah. Control D or Command D is to hide those selection. It's very important. Huh? So we'll get back to this. By default, you will see it's a rectangular marquee tool. Right. And then secondly, we've got the lasso tool. These are three key things. Yeah, lasso tool is also for selection. Right. So if you select something, let's say you want to have this selected, you can Control C, Control C and Control V. You see I've got a selection selected and copy and paste it. Okay, that is the very base idea of what selections can do. Yeah, the rest of it for now let's ignore. You've got the brush tool. These are common things. Yeah, brush tool is practically well used in photo editing. So brush tool is where I do a lot of painting, and so all the concept artists. So you can just do painting with brush tools. Yeah, you can pick any of these colors from the color picker here, or color swatches here, or you can just come down till the bottom. You see these two boxes here with color and white. If your background is white, just double click it, you will see the foreground color and the background color. That's why you see two um, you know two overlapping um, squares. Yeah, so you can come in here, you can just slide on this color picker here, yeah, color slider here, and change those colors, your preferred colors, and you can pick the color and say okay and start painting on the canvas. Right, the rest of it, best is for now, yeah, these three component is very important. Yeah, if you want to do coloring or painting, just make sure that you are on a brand new layer. Okay, don't do it on that image. Yeah, always do on a brand new layer so that you can always erase it by itself as well. Okay, yeah, eraser is practically erasing anything that you have drawn. Yeah, and that's about it. The rest of it, do not touch for now. Yeah, that is the easiest or most utilized tools for now for you to kickstart. Yeah, but saying that, it doesn't mean that you can't explore this. Yeah, so Adobe Photoshop is just a tool, editing tool. Get in there, bring your mouse to every single tools here. Okay, just hover, don't need to click it, don't be afraid of clicking it because it's just a software. Yeah, just go here, just tap once, and then do a selection with your left mouse button, and done. See what it does. All right, that's how we learn softwares. Okay, so when you learn softwares, you do not need to go and study how the exact algorithm is going to work, by going deep into it, but you need to identify what it does and how is it going to help you understand it first. Then it is a lot more easier for you to later enhance yourself within that software. Make sense? Yeah, so for the first time you'll get a little bit of hiccups, but that's fine. Okay, all right, that is the tool bar here. Right, on the canvas you saw I placed all the images. Okay, so in here I'm just gonna click this. Yeah, in on my left hand side, right hand side, yeah, you've got the color, you've got the swatches, you've got the gradient and pattern. For now, just look into color. Right, so you can make it smaller, make it bigger, however you want it to view. Normally I'll keep it as this small. I don't need such a huge space, but I need more space for my layers. Yeah, so color is where the color is. If you double tap on it, it will just close. Yeah, sorry, there's a question. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you, Dustin. So let me just explain this first. Yeah, okay, so in here, if you double click or double tap on any of this properties of this tiny little boxes here, it will either expand it or close it so that you have more real estates to work with. Make sense? Yeah, so this you'll get the hang of it as you're working. Do not be shocked when you see this. Hey, there's nothing there. Everything is gone, everything is missing. But don't panic. You just have to make sure that you double click on every channels here, or tiny little boxes here for it to open up the window or the content within that window. Got it? Yeah, So that's that. So here layers is the most important thing. Properties is going to tell you what size, yeah, you can change the canvas size and so the document, yeah, this is where you change, or you can amend your document size. I'm just going to close this. But layers and colors, these two things, two windows is the most important thing. Okay, apart from that, the other components here ignore for now. Yeah, so layers is where every time that you bring in any image or any content in Photoshop, everything will appear here. Okay, you can just drag anything, or you can even do this. Just click on this plus button here and then get into brush tool, and you can start doing this painting. You know how you do painting in a blank canvas on your artboard? That's exactly what you do. This is what you can do. For an example, if I tap this, I can do this. This is nothing, right? Yeah, no photos or whatever. Not. This is how concept artists work. Yeah, but for you guys, you'll be managing with, before you get into that, you'll be managing with photos first, photo editing first. So if you have any images, you just have from your phone or your PC or wherever you kept it, you just have to drag and drop it here and it will straight away appear. So as I mentioned, as I showed you before, or before this, I showed you how to drag and drop and it will appear on the canvas. There's another way of bringing in image by place embedded, which you just bring it in and just slap it on the canvas. Yeah, and then you've got another option, place link. All right, so these three options here has its own differences. Place linked is the most different one. The other two is practically, it was pretty much works the same. Yeah, I like to just drag and drop it because we've been working with Photoshop for a long time, so I like to use it that manner. But yeah, so this two, place embedded and drag and drop, pretty much the same. Yeah. What happens is a proper way, conventional way, is placing it, yeah, by going to file, place embedded or place linked. Yeah, that's a proper way of doing it. But yeah, what it does is once you paste, you will see this icon here. Yeah, there will be a tiny square. Yeah, as you can see, there's a link like a chain. Another one, there's something here. Yeah, there's a tiny little icon here, squarish white. Yeah, so once you have this, if I were to move, I'm just going to look into place embedded and drag and drop. Yeah, so make sure that you select it, it's highlighted, the layer, and you take any brush tool. If it is editable, you can edit this. You won't see this icon. Yeah, you can straight away see the brush stroke and then you can see a cursor here. But if it's not, it will ask you to first embed or make it into an editable object. Okay, an editable component. How do you do that is by going here, right click, either you rasterize the layer, which is the most destructive manner of doing things, which you can't have the original as it is. Yeah, you have to, once you edit it and that's it, it's a brand new file. Yeah, we'll come back to this even further. So if you hit on rasterize this layer, what happens is there won't be any icons. Make sense? Yeah, the icons, I mean, you will see the icon, there won't be any sub icons within it. Right? Now, if I get in here, you see the cursor, right? There is no entry. So you'll see a round, or the cursor is there, and you can start painting on the canvas. Okay? So that's what it does. Right? But if you do it as right click, create or convert to smart object. Now if you have a layer or brand new layer on top, normally you are able to, how do I say, you're able to adjust it and retain the original image. Yeah, but for now let's just click on this and you can open up the original property of the image as how it was. Yeah, you can do that, and then you can continue editing on it, and that's why you need another layer. And so yeah, so this one, it will maintain the original image, yeah, as how it is, or you can just click on the smart object and you can change in the smart object, and coming in here it is still locked and so on. Okay, so it's a little confusing now here because we haven't practiced completely, but I'm just letting you know first. Yeah, today it's more on understanding only, just get through it, and that's about it for today. Yeah, I want you all to try it out, and then there will be in-depth topic on its specific functionality of each and every components, which is under the topic of layers. Okay, there's blending option, this is all part of layers. Okay, so we'll come back to this again. If it's linked, see, you can't do anything here, but if you change anything or if you add anything inside here, pop, 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 and you save it, okay, now you will see the file or the image will be saved with the edits because it is linked. But yeah, we'll come back to this more thoroughly as we go to the next next stage or next coming weeks and so on. But overall, this is how you navigate through. Okay, so for today, just get into Photoshop. Make sure you install Photoshop first. Okay, the school, I believe the school is going to provide you the Photoshop paid version, right? So you will be able to access your Photoshop for 20 weeks. I don't know whether it's going to be just 20 weeks or it's going to be more than that. Yeah, I'll get back to you, by the way. Yeah, so anyways, once you have the access, I want you guys to first get into Photoshop, open it up, open a A4 size, and just know what each tool does. Very simple. Okay, that's all you have to do. Drag in an image, try out something, do all the errors first, right, before we dive deep into the each and every topic that is necessary for you to create a good output. Okay, yeah, so that's for today. Yeah, let's keep it pretty low for today before we get into the extensive version of how do you want to edit your images and so on. Right, so yep, that is on Photoshop for today. Any questions? Guys, feedback. Anyone, any questions? Right. Just a little bit, just to give you an overview what Photoshop can do. Yeah, I'll show you a sample of what we can do in Photoshop and what I've been doing. Give me a moment. Let me just get into yeah. Okay, few things that you can do with Photoshop, been produced with Photoshop. Yeah, a little bit of myself. I've been doing games and animation for the past 16 years. Yeah, close to 20 years already. Yeah, actually, yeah, 20 years already. So this is what can be done in Photoshop. 1, 2. These are all scribbles. But this scribble is what we call as concept. Right? I'll show you more. This was done for Valorant Power Up series. I can't show a lot, but yeah, just a quick one. Hopefully it gives you an idea. Oops. Yeah. This is for Valorant as well. This is fully done in Photoshop. Okay. So if you want to get into this line, I mean conceptual art, this is how one tool for you to understand is how it works and how to edit those images and how to use this Photoshop, and you can do wonders with Photoshop. Okay, so yeah, that's it for today. Any questions? Guys, I'll stop the recording here. Oops. Stop sharing.